Hi, healer. So today is we're going to talk about toxic relationships again. Seems like that's popular. You will leave the toxic relationship, but it won't leave you. And when I say that, toxic relationship has actually been so prominent in your life that you consumed it in some ways. And the only way that you can release it is if you actually release it consciously. So you have to be very conscious with releasing this toxicity out of your life because the patterns have been engraved inside your mind, in your thought process, in your day, in your habits, in your life. Could be from the beginning of time if you had a toxic relationship with your parents or siblings. So you really need to be conscious about releasing it. It's not just going to happen. It would be nice just to walk away from the toxic relationship. But like I said, you will leave the toxic relationship, but it won't leave you. Toxic relationships create a cycle of self destruction. That's the point. The toxic person is self destructing. They may not even be aware that they're self destructing, but they are. And when someone is self destructing, they have a tendency to pull others in and cause them to self destruct because they don't want to seem like they are actually accountable for destroying themselves and bringing others down with them because that's a lot of accountability. That's something that somebody never wants to feel responsible. But it happens. We have to admit this, right? People are accountable and they do bring others down and they do bring themselves down. And when they bring themselves down, they bring down anybody who cares for them. So a seed is planted in every toxic interaction, like a poison or a cancer. Poison has a way of seeping in to things, and cancer spreads like wildfire. We always hear about watching the seeds we have planted grow or reaping what we sow. Seeds of toxicity are harvested like death. Toxic words and deeds are planted and they bring forth death. They don't bring forth anything good. They're set out to destroy. Unlike seeds of kindness and love that spreads, blossoms, and regenerates life, in all things the toxicity is like a virus, spreading diseases that cause death eventually, breaking down the body, making it a habitat for more disease, breaking down the immune system. All of these things can happen from toxicity, from toxic relationships. People don't talk enough about it, but it's true. People who have cancer, they do better and they recover a lot better if they're not in toxic situations. The death can look like self-destruction, can look like after being in a toxic relationship, that even while you're going through your healing journey, that you look like you're self-destructing. Because what happens is it's a breakdown. And when you leave the toxic relationship, all of the toxic seeds are still there, they're still growing, unless you're conscious about removing them, working through them so you can heal. And in some cases, it okay, so I just said it's like self-destruction. So if that means it's not apparent that you're self-destructing. You're self-destructing because you're allowing the toxicity to circle through your body, through your mind, through your thought, through your habits, through your day-to-day living. Even though you're away from the toxicity, you're still letting it live. Believe me, I understand how it works. So it looks like self-destruction because now you're feeling the after effects of years and years and years of toxicity. The seeds grow in your mind, creating a cycle, repeating the toxicity in your head and becoming self-destructive to yourself because of the repeating toxicity. Even though you're away from a toxic situation, it's inhibited inside you. The toxic person is spreading their seeds somewhere else now. So the toxic person, think of Johnny Appleseed, okay? He's going around barefoot, whatever, spreading seeds of discontent, lies, misery, toxicity, negativity, denial, just anything toxic, right? just spreading it around like Johnny Appleseed, right? Planting seeds wherever he goes, all over. Wherever he was, he dropped some seeds. He just had them in his pocket and he just dropping them all over the place. That's what a toxic person does. Wherever they go, they're spraying their seeds, right? They want to harvest. They're working for the devil, you know. They're out to destroy themselves and anybody around them. They cannot stand the fact that somebody else could actually be happy or fruitful. So they want to plant seeds that will not grow, seeds of death. They don't want you to be fruitful. Matter of fact, if you are fruitful, they'll sabotage you. They'll pull down your fruit, right? They'll spread their disease seeds all over your crops, right? Let's see. The toxic person is spreading their seeds somewhere else. Okay? Toxic person is generating toxic seed within them, and it is explosive. So they are releasing and spreading it wherever it is, except so just like Johnny Appleseed dropping seeds every, it's explosive. He can't control it. The seeds, this toxic person's seeds or her seeds are just being spread throughout wherever they go. And it spreads, but it spreads death, right? And eventually it just dies out. Like love and kindness will continue to grow, and you don't even know how many crops you can get from one seed of kindness or love. But when it comes to toxicity, at least it does turn to death, which is a good thing because it dies out eventually. By not accepting the toxicity, you can combat self-destructive behavior that comes from bullying, manipulations, a plan to avoid toxic expression. Don't repeat one toxic word. Just whatever someone says, don't repeat it. Don't repeat it to somebody else. Don't repeat it to yourself. Don't repeat it. Don't ruminate. Don't repeat one toxic thought. Don't think about this toxic person. Don't go back in the past and think about how something was holiday, birthday, whatever. Replace these seeds with good words and thoughts. Replace the seeds of doubt with seeds of hope. These seeds are meant to infiltrate you and never leave. That's the focus. That's what they're supposed to do. That's the enemy's main tactic, to infiltrate you with these seeds that they'll even be coming back to bother you in a few years, right? Or till you die, till you're gone. They're meant to kill you. Don't repeat any of them. You could have thoughts and words from decades ago you replay in your mind. You need to release these today. Realizing it was a tool for your own self-destruction. It's so much easier for you to destroy yourself. That's what toxicity is about. To look like you are self-destructing, to look like you have some kind of mental illness, to look like you are incapable or unstable while they're spewing poisonous seeds, cancerous seeds, all over the place. These seeds can produce death. Please let these lies go. It's a lie. If anything that toxicity comes from is a lie. There isn't one bit of truth from it. Remember that. Truth will stand. It'll survive. It'll thrive. It'll always be revealed. Where lies, manipulation, and toxicity, their end is death. Whether you die from it or it kills somebody else or they commit suicide or the person who did all of the toxicity and spread the lies ends up doing that to themselves because death is basically the fruit of toxicity. There's no way around. Toxic person wants to come around and see your destruction. So like Johnny Appleseed, would he go back into these villages where he planted the seed? They even know where he's been. Like there's places like Johnny Appleseed planted these seeds here, these orchards and stuff. And so he would go back and like go see the orchards, go visit the people he would stay with while he planted seeds. He was very popular and he traveled all the time, right? And so the toxic people, they want to come around. They want to infiltrate, drop their seeds, go away while these seeds grow and you look like you're self-destructing. And then they want to come back to see how well their seeds were planted and to see if their seeds grew. And if you are self-destructive, They want to get good news on what they're doing, whatever it is that they're doing is toxic. They want to know that they're getting a harvest. Toxicity can be not planting seeds that should have been. There you go. It can be a void, leaving a void, a big gap where something should have been, like love, concern, kind words, encouragement, where all of that is lacking, that is also toxic. When it seems as if you have a finger in your face for every mishap, or the fact that you are alive even and in the wrong place, somebody's offended that you showed up, they don't want you there, why are you here? Why you bring your happiness around here? That's toxicity too. When they can't say thank you for something that you did, they can't be great for your president in their life, death. That's toxic. So toxicity is a lot of things don't occur, just as well as things that do happen. There are places where love is loud, kindness is. These are actually planting toxic seeds in your mind, in your thought process, in your habits. When you're done something that is, when you've done something that is worthy of acknowledgement, but it purposely goes unrecognized and disregarded, it, and even worse than that, switched up to be something it never was, your whole intention is taken out, thrown aside as if you never intended to do right by a situation because someone doesn't like the way that you handle this. That is toxicity. Somebody is not looking at things from your point of view or even asking you why you did something, and you're just assuming you did something to be toxic yourself. And in reality, you did something so that you could help everybody in the long run to make things better. Even though sometimes things are hard at first, and they are. The things that are the most worth having require work, hard work, and sacrifice, and making tough decisions. So this is a seed of manipulation when you work to accomplish something and you work hard at it. You put your heart, soul, blood, sweat, and tears into it. But then other people are like, why did you do that? What were you doing? That wasn't right. Right there, that's planting a seed of manipulation, which is toxic. And it's taking away the blessing that you placed down, the seed that you planted to grow fruitfully, to harvest and reap as good fruit. And they've turned it into bad fruit. But they can't really, because if in your heart you did something and you did it in a loving, kind way, even if it's not received as a loving, kind act, the fact that you did do it in a loving, kind way still stands. Like I said, truth will stand, and lies, manipulation, toxicity always die. So eventually, there will be some fruit from seed that is planted out of kindness, love, truth. Probably someone would turn something that was kind and loving into something evil or lacking because of envy. So envy, someone who's envious of you or jealous of you, is toxic. People should be able to be encouraging seasons. So that's another thing. They're not always going to say mean, toxic things. You have to go again by how you feel when you're in certain situations. What is your body telling you? Because your body is receiving things, subconscious intuition understands things that maybe you're not seeing through your eyes. Well, that was it today. Have a great day.